Success consists of going from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. Well, Winston Churchill. Welcome to Get Real with Shameeza. I am your host, Shameeza Ali, and it is truly a pleasure being here with you this evening. Good evening to everyone joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and on Island Zone Radio. Tonight, you will meet Rohan Narine. He went from a garage gambler to a mayoral liaison. You'll also meet Sita Sohit, a teacher that is also a singer. But first, let's do a giveaway. Our giveaway tonight is compliments of Videsi Caribbean food specialists serving our community for over 40 years. It's a winter box filled with goodies to make your winter a little bit more festive. Now, here's your chance. Last week, we spoke to Athena Winter. What was our topic that we discussed? Again, the question is, last week we spoke to Athena Winter. What was the topic we discussed? While you answer that, share the live. We will be right back after these messages.
Flamingo Restaurant and Mantra Lounge. We are NYC's premier Caribbean restaurant and lounge, specializing in authentic West Indian, Chinese, and Caribbean cuisine. Open every day for lunch and late nights. For delivery, find us on Uber Eats, Grubhub, Seamless, and DoorDash. Visit our rooftop lounge upstairs on the weekends for a fun-filled night. We cater and take bookings for private events. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Flamingo Mantra. Our address is 120-06 Rockaway Boulevard, telephone 7188351000.
He went from a garage gambler to a mayoral liaison. How he did it and why he did it, let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rohan Narine. Good evening,
Shameeza,
Rohan. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
thank you so much. It is a pleasure. Shameeza, I've heard so much about you, and I've tuned into your shows, the very controversial shows, the very uplifting shows, the very inspiring shows, and I just want to say, continue the great work. There's no success without a little controversy, right?
Absolutely. And,
So, yeah.
controversy is good as long as we keep it respectful. We agree to disagree, but we're kind and respectful. I think that those are the important things to have in place of, controversy. But I try mostly to make sure that the platform is a platform that people like yourself and many others can tell their story. They can come here and they can inspire others, uplift others. So I try to keep it, very much in that type of format. So Rohan, for anyone out there who's watching, can you please introduce yourself to us?
Sure. So, I am the son of a multi-religious family. My mother is Muslim, my dad is Hindu. I grew up exposed to these two faiths, and when we moved from London, I'm British born. We came from London to Brooklyn in 1988. I was enrolled in Catholic school, so I'm a little Christian, a little Muslim, a little Hindu. I grew up around these faiths, and I was very much exposed to the Hindu faith. As you know, my father, Dr. Dan Paul Narine, a living legend of a community leader, had me in meetings with Pagwa parade planning committees, television shows, radio shows, newspaper publications. So, I was seeped into community work from a very young age. My father and mother, they encouraged me to write neatly, to speak sweetly, and to ask a lot of questions. So I eventually majored in accounting when I graduated college. I started off at one of the big accounting firms. I didn't like that so much, so I shifted over. I did real estate. I moved over to Douglas Elliman Real Estate on the Upper East Side. I did that for a few years. I met my girlfriend, turned fiance, turned wife,
Yes.
while I was a real estate agent. The gorgeous and very legal scholar Aminta Kilawan Narayan, and who
Good evening,
many
Aminta.
many people know. Yes,
Yes.
many people in the community know who she is. Also, um, arguably more of a living legend than my dad, some will say. And at present, I am an organizer at Chaya Community Development Corporation. And so, in between real estate and my current job, is why we're here. There is an entire almost 10 years of a lot of ups and downs, a lot of hardship, a lot of struggle, and a lot of addictions that I succumbed to, which I hope we can discuss a little bit more in detail.
Absolutely. Now, we're talking about this decade of discovery. It's a book written by Rohan Narine, and it is now out on Amazon. He'll tell us where we can find this book. But guys, I've read this book. I couldn't put it down, and you guys really need it. It's very rare in our community that a man comes out and he tells his story. Now we're talking about addiction, we're talking about gambling issues, we're talking about so much things that many of us in our culture refuse to acknowledge and just don't have that conversation. Rohan, looking at you and reading this, I have to say, I have to commend you for having the courage reading this book, right? You're so real, you're so raw, you're so true. I mean, it's not that you embrace, but you acknowledge where you had issues, which is something that we don't like to do in our culture. We, especially with families and a wife who's an attorney, and we don't want to accept who we are, right? We want only the good things to shine and be told. We never want to do it, and you're telling all of that right here: the good, the bad, the ugly. Tell us what it took for you to write this.
Yeah, great question. So, as we all know, the world shut down in March of 2020, and we were all forced to stay indoors. And that was the genesis of this idea. My political science professor for my master's degree, we were taking the train back home. He said some very colorful words to me, which I can't say on the show, but he said, I told him, he's like, "So Rohan, where you come from?" And I said, so I was running a gambling ring in my parents' garage for a whole year. And then, I was like wasting my life away until a real estate broker started playing poker there and said, "Rohan, make something of yourself. You're a loser. What are you doing here in your parents' garage? Like drinking and smoking and just wasting your life. Go get your real estate license and come work for me." And so that was around 2009. That was right after the recession. So we all know we hit a big recession in 2008, and I lost my job. I was working at a hedge fund. I was making six figures. I was shopping at Brooks Brothers, and I was shopping at Bloomingdale's. Those are my two favorite stores. So
Right.
I still have some of those clothes left. But then it all came crashing down, and I didn't know what to do. So I made some bad friends. I had
Driving a
poor
Mercedes.
choices. That
Driving
is,
a
yes,
Mercedes at that time, right?
yeah. I had a two-door Mercedes coupe that
Yes.
I could not afford. It was $430 a month. And I literally crawled to my parents, and I said, please help me. I have a credit score of like 300, bills I couldn't pay, credit card debt. I was evicted from my apartment, and I basically crawled back to them. I said, just help me pay some of these bills while I get back on my feet. So that the when I was talking to this political science professor, he heard this, and he said, Rohan, you better write a book about all this, because look, you're in a master's degree program. You may get a job after this master's degree, and people need to hear your story. And so that was 2016. 2020 came around. We were all indoors. We had so much time, and I told my wife, I said, look, I think I'm gonna write something down. And she was like, go for it. A lot of people, I'll take a pause right here if you wanted to have a comment or ask a question, but just to let you know, a lot of people who I met while working at the mayor's office that I told about this book to, they said, Rohan, stop it right there. Just stop writing, put the pen down, and do not publish this. This is going to look bad on you. This is going to look terrible for your career. You're not going to get a job after this book is published, and it's going to make your family name look really bad. And ironically, uh, the exact opposite happened. Everyone has been very receptive. Um, Jobs have been coming to me left and right. I'm trying to get my third job right now, like a true Guyanese, and no one has uh, maligned my family's name.
So congratulations. You and Aminta just had your first set of twins, right? Excited? How's your sleep?
So I'm just gonna leave it at this. My plastic surgeon does amazing work. He is hiding my crow's feet. He is tucking my tummy in, and he is tucking my chin. So I have been actually, I give a lot of credit to my wife. She has really been managing the ship, and commandeering the ship,
Yeah.
and my in-laws. Both of my in-laws have done an amazing job. I think when Moses parted the Red Sea, they're kind of doing that. They're doing the impossible. They're taking so little and they're making so much with it. So I give my wife and my in-laws a lot of credit with our twins.
If you want to pause here and say good evening to a few people, you can. We have quite a few people here watching, and I know they're probably here for you. I see Seema Tiwari Sapan, Vanessa Robinson. She says that you were one of her best friends in college. Since then, I've nicknamed him my little brother. And Seema says that I'm so proud of you telling your truth, Rohan. Athena, it's necessary to live in your truth. How does it feel to watch all these women, right? Some of them might know who you are, some of them don't know you. They're probably seeing you for the first time. How does it feel to have them tell you, a man who's supposed to be macho and supposed to be all these things, to listen to these women? How does that feel?
I think it feels amazing, and I think what would be, even more amazing. I wrote the book specifically for men because men don't read.
Right.
Men, they think they know everything. They don't want to seek advice. They're very resistant to mental health help. And I'm hoping that if they don't go to a counselor, they don't see a therapist, they don't want to talk about any of their mental issues to their spouse, maybe they can just read my book. Maybe their partner can uh, get this on Amazon Prime, get it in their hands, and they can read it on the train before they go to work. They can read it in their van when they come home from, in between lunch breaks at work, and maybe they can even make it like a weekend read before they go to sleep. So I love the women in our community because they're the ones really just carrying the household, carrying the traditions, carrying the honor of their families on their backs. While
Yeah.
you had, I mentioned it in the book, you had men like me who were just uh, hopping from bar to bar, not knowing what I was doing, and I just saw nothing but men just like me, doing the same exact thing, and you don't know how much people talk, right?
Yeah.
So, people were probably telling my parents certain things, and certain things got back to me, and that's when I realized I needed to make a change. I mean, my face looks a little round now, but one of my friends, he said, "Rohan, you lost 20 pounds." And
Wow.
I looked really, yeah, I looked bony. You could see the my jawline and my
Yeah.
high cheekbones were showing. And my friend looked at me, he's like, "Rohan, you lost 20 pounds. You look really thin. What is going on with you? Are you okay?" And that's when like things jolted into my head. Like, what is going on? What am I doing?
Right.
I needed
Um,
to get out of that garage. Yeah.
I do want to read this excerpt from the book, and it's page 33. It's right before you go
Okay.
into section 4, Goodwill Writing. It's right before that. It's towards the end. The avatar tells the human, if all objects of wishes flow into a man as rivers flow into the ocean bed, which, while being filled, stays unmoved to its depths, he becomes serene, not the one who desires them. Like, what does this mean? You're asking, what does this mean? Have you found out
Yeah.
from when you wrote this book to now what that phrase means? Because this is something that is written in the Bhagavad Gita, and you were reading it and you were confused because you couldn't understand certain things. As my question reading this is, did you figure it out? Did you get some clarity as to what it is?
I did. I did. So give me a minute to unpack. Um, my guru, Dharmacharya Pandit Narine, in when I was a complete loser, he took me on a trip to South Africa, and my parents financed this trip. It was something like $6,000,
Right.
and I was just meant to be his videographer. So he said, "Ro, you're coming with me to South Africa. You're gonna man the video camera, and you're gonna take still shots of me doing puja, pravachan, and meeting and greeting, because we have to tell people in New York City, what is going on here in South Africa." I went there, and he was trying to set me up with any attractive young lady who was going to believe all my lies. And it didn't work. But through all of this, very strangely, I met a Sunday school teacher. And so she gave me a copy of her Bhagavad Gita that she taught at Sunday school. And she's like, "Rohan, you're very confused." She almost like read me like a psychic. She said, "You're very confused. You have good intentions, but you have no idea how to accomplish anything in life right now." And she said, "Take this book and read this book." And she highlighted with a pencil all these chapters and sections and chapters and sections. And so one of them is this section that um, where a person feels completely serene when every single gift given to him flows through him like water flowing through a river. And so, if you were given a Ferrari, a mansion, a Bentley, a winning lottery ticket, where you can cash it the next day for millions of dollars, and that just flows through you, and you're completely serene after all of that, and you can let it go. Let the Ferrari go, let the mansion go, let the winning lottery ticket go. The Bhagavad Gita says that person is serene, and that person is fit for self-realization. And so when I at the time, you can bet your butt I didn't want to really understand that.
No.
I wanted the Mercedes. I wanted the poker winnings. I wanted to make it first place when I won a poker game. And so I was very confused. And so I remember reading those things and saying to myself, WTF? I mean, what does this mean?
Yeah. Wow. That is powerful. And I'm happy that you finally understood, because I was trying to find out too what it really means. Now you also speak of uh, your dad taking you to a bookstore one time and buying you this book, and when you were in South Africa, you met the author of that book. Tell us a little bit about that and the words that
Yeah.
she said to you.
Yeah, no, thank you for bringing this up. Yeah, that was so I'm in South Africa. These thick bearded, thick haired men, they all look like Amitabh Bachchans, by the way.
Yes.
You know, they're very handsome, um, all fancy kurtas because they're there to really welcome my uncle, you know, who's like a king when he goes
Right.
there. And so they all dress to the nines. And they said, you know, Rohan, we're going for ice cream. Come with us. So my uncle says, take him to go get ice cream. And outside of the ice cream shop on a tree post is a poster for someone named um, BK Jayanti. And
Yes.
BK stands for Brahma Kumari. So she's a Brahma Kumari. I read her book when my dad took me to Oxford,
Yes.
and I finished her book on the plane. And she was in person, and I looked, and it was maybe like 9 o'clock, and the event started at 8. And I said, "Can we go to this?" And they said, "Rohan, it's probably done. I don't think you're gonna really go and get a seat or anything. You're probably just gonna have to like sit all the way in the back." I said, "Okay, let's go." So we went. I sat in the back. She has a very hypnotizing voice. And right at the end, they opened it up for questions. And my hand darted up
Yes.
like lightning, and they picked me out of the crowd. And I took the microphone and I said, I came all the way from New York City. And everyone turned around and said, who is this kid? Came all the way from New York City, 4,000 miles away, like a $3,000 plane ticket to see BK Jayanti. And my
Yes.
question to her, what, and I was, thick into gambling, addicted to uh, pot. I was a huge pothead. Um, Probably if someone put a beer in my face, I was going to drink it. And I looked at her and I said, I'm saying the right words, and I'm trying to look the right way, but nothing is coming to me. What do I do? And she said, I'll never forget her words. She said, look how far you've come to ask me this question. And she said, what you need to work on is not your words and your actions. What you need to work on is your vibration. And that really just blew my mind. And in closing, think about how relevant in 2024 the word vibes is. It was like the vibes. Ooh, these
Yeah.
vibes. I love these vibes. And so I'm thinking, gosh, here she is telling me that I need to work on my vibration. And so I actually asked a few people what that really meant, and they told me very easily. They said, look at the Pope. They said, look at Pope Francis, look at Pope Benedict, look at Pope John Paul. When they enter into a room, Shamiza, you know it.
Yeah.
You feel their vibration. You don't have to look at them. They can be in another part of the room, but you feel their presence when they enter. And so since I've heard that, I can't say I've mastered it, but I really tried to feel my inner vibration, and trying to bring that out, and hoping that maybe on the written page is where people can actually feel my vibration.
Do you feel you've gotten to that point where you really and truly feel like you've got that vibration that she was speaking about?
Um, I'll be honest, I don't think so. I
But
think I have a
it's a
lot to
work in
learn.
progress, right? Where I don't think that any one of us is quite. It's every stage in our every day we wake up is an opportunity to be better than we were yesterday and to just keep going, right? It's life. This
Yeah.
the person I am now compared to what I was a year ago or 5 years ago. It's not the same person, and I hope it's for the better, right? As we live, we
Mm,
learn, we have
mhm,
experiences. But speaking of vibration, right, and vibes, right, I feel in 2024 as human beings, we live our lives based on vibrations of other people. We want that positive energy, and if we don't feel it, we're not going to stay in that room anymore if we don't feel
mm,
that vibe
mhm,
that we're looking for in
mhm,
that other person, right?
agree.
Let's talk about you spoke in the book, right? And earlier your words were, you wanted that Mercedes, and you wanted the mansion, you wanted all these things. Do you feel as a young man you had all those things that your parents, or whether you worked for it, do you think at the time when you started in 2008, I believe 2009, do you think at that time you had a life that most young men your age would have, really wanted?
Mm, I I think a lot of the young men who came to my parents' garage and would drink and smoke with me, they left and they felt sorry for me. Um, I think I heard a few would go back and actually tell their girlfriends and their wives that they're going to an amazing spot, but they're watching this young man waste his life away. So
Wow.
I'll admit, like I was hiding my depression through gambling and through smoking, and I was in denial. I didn't want to admit that what was going on with me was there was a lot of anger built up. I was very short tempered. I had a lot of issues around what I would do for work. I didn't like accounting after my stint working at Ernst and Young, so I felt that my resume worked against me.
Yeah.
I didn't know what my true calling was, Shamiza. I didn't. I someone said real estate, but then some other people said, but anyone can do real estate. So which I eventually did go into.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't even know what it took to take a GRE to get into a master's degree program. I thought I was so under that, or that, I was so below that. So I I I I will disagree with you. I didn't have it all. I was
Yeah.
just it was a facade. It was like a mirage in a desert.
Well, many of us, right, we were brought up to think that once people have the material things, life is good with them. And that's the part that you are, and that's why I brought it up, because we look around and we see people with these fancy houses and nice cars, and we automatically assume that their life is perfect and they have the best of everything and they must be happy. But that was
Mm,
not the case with you, and that's not the case with many others like you. It's just that they don't come out and tell us their story. They don't write a book. They don't write a book that tells us how unhappy they were, how bitter they were with themselves and with life and family, right? You're looking into a room, and I know you spoke about, being in the room with your parents and other relatives, and life is supposed to be so perfect, and all these people are so educated, and they're dharmachari, and your dad is a doctor, and they're doing so well in life, but you're just missing things, right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
I have to tell you that that was like, it hit me when you felt empty and you couldn't be in that room, because you didn't feel it. It hit me, and I'm sure many others, when they read that book, it will hit them too, that this is the reality of many of us. It's like being surrounded with so many people, but yet you can't feel them, right?
It
um
you're
yeah.
100% correct. Yeah, I was embarrassed. I stopped going. I wrote this in the book. I said, after I lost my job, what would the people in the mandir think of me? I couldn't even show my face in the mandir. They didn't know that I was unemployed, but I knew that, and I just that inner pride was gone. um, Also, I think it's important to mention, just for everyone watching, and this is just a message to anyone and everyone watching. If you have a family member who is addicted either to drinking or to smoking and vaping, and you see that they have a problem, take the time out. Take them out to lunch, take them out to dinner, treat them. But during that lunch or during that dinner or during that coffee, have a serious talk with them. I wish that that happened with me. I think my parents, they didn't necessarily play a game of chess with me. I think they were just playing a very long game of Romy. thinking that I'll figure it out. But in hindsight, I would have really appreciated if they kind of just, had that really tough, a rough, harsh conversation with me. Like, Rohan, you're doing ABC and you're failing at ABC. What are you doing? It was my dharmacharya that actually took me on a long drive, on a interstate drive, and he said, like, Rohan, you're disgracing your whole family. What are you doing? And he really just knocked some sense into my head, from a drive from New York to North Carolina. But I would tell everyone watching, if you have a family member, if you have a friend that you love, that you care about, that you can see has an issue, or it's becoming more than they can handle, if it's alcohol, if it's vaping. Vaping is a huge epidemic right now in our society. Take the right step. Uh, have a mini intervention with them over coffee or lunch, or dinner, and just let them know that you love them, you care for them, you've seen them change and not for the better, and you want them to get help. And if they're not okay with getting help from the outside, at least tell them that they need to start making small changes in their life, because things, you can see things aren't going in a positive direction. So to anyone watching, just have that hard conversation now. Um, I've seen too many young men pass away, and I get no. We all seen it. We've all seen the notices on Facebook. Young men in their 30s and 40s. You've seen it, Shameeza,
Yeah.
in New York, in Florida, in Canada. I see, like, wow, born in 1982. That
Yeah.
person's 42.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
42 years old. I said, wow, I even see young men younger than me
Yeah.
passing away. And I just see their obituary on Facebook. I said, my gosh, this man is so young. And, we all know that's there was something else there. No one's going to talk about it. No one's going to say what it is, but there was something else there. So have that hard conversation now, to prevent seeing this. We shouldn't be getting links to a Zoom that's awake for a young man
No.
anymore. We need to stop getting those links to Zooms for young men and wakes.
Beautifully said. And I know that you have not had a launch yet of your book, and I would like to take the opportunity to help in whatever way I can to make sure that that launch happens. I know we discussed it in our first meeting. I would love to be that one to help you, and you just tell me what is it that you need. But we definitely need to have we need to uplift each other, right? And this, I feel like your book, you having a book that should have been done, since the book came out, we should have known about it all over the community. And we don't, and it's sad. So I'm taking the initiative. I want to help. So I'll reach out to you after the show, probably in the next few days, and we will arrange to make sure that we have a proper launch of a decade of discovery. All right. So I'm taking that. That is my commitment to you. And we'll do a nice launch of your book. Um, I know as a parent, right? I have 4 kids. And as a parent, I read your book, and I'm looking from a parent perspective, right? And you being a parent now can understand too the love you feel for your child. What do you think at the time your parents were feeling? And what is your message to parents out there?
Yeah, that's a great question. my my dad and mom, they knew I was depressed, and they were trying to talk to some of their friends to talk to me. Um, I think when you're unemployed, you have no access to healthcare, and so everything you have to come out of pocket for. And at that time, um, meeting a psychiatrist or a therapist isn't covered. Many times, it's not covered by insurance, and so that could have been out of my parents' reach at that time. But my parents were struggling to see me struggle, and it really hurt them to see that they were losing their son to drugs and alcohol. And looking back on this, now that I have children, now that I'm a father, it made me want to write this in case, God forbid, my son or my daughter's friends go through something like this. I was a chess coach over the summer, and one of my chess students, came to me and said, Rohan, I'm going to sixth grade, and one of my good friends, he's 12 years old. He's turning 12 and he's vaping. Like, Rohan, can you talk to him? And it broke my heart. I said, oh, like, and I can't do that. I'm just here to teach chess. But this young man thought that I helped him so much that he wanted to bring his friend to me for me to talk to him. So that made me want to release the book. It made me it shook me up inside, because we're seeing cancers in adults 30 and under. We're seeing high rates of depression in youth. We're seeing suicide rates in youth go up, like in rates we've never seen before. And we're seeing a decline in overall mental health due to social media and smartphones, which is, I said, gosh, I'd love to put a book in people's hands, right? That's why I did that. And so that's why you can't buy it on Kindle, or you can't buy it on your iPhone. You actually have to purchase the hard copy book, and you have to read it. And then, with that, I'd love to have an official launch, Shameeza. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the only person that invited me to your show. You are the only person that's taken the time out to read my book and ask me questions. That is, you've made my whole year. And I would love to do the official launch. I have a good friend who he just bought a really chic pad in Manhattan. So I'm hoping that when we can try to put our kids down to bed one night, I doubt that's going to happen, and sleep soundly through a night, I could sneak out. My wife and I can sneak out to this really chic pad in the chic condo in Manhattan and have a really nice book launch there. I think it overlooks the Empire State Building and the Manhattan skyline. I think it would be a good place to have an official book launch. And it would be great to have you there too when that happens. Hopefully, we're thinking spring of
Yes.
2025. Spring
Yeah.
of 2025 would be ideal.
Perfect. And like I said, everyone need this. You should be buying this as a Christmas present. This is a gift that you can give to young people. You can give to that special man or woman in your life. It's an important read, guys. Please get your copy of it. I read it and I was hooked on it. I promise you, it would not be a waste of your time. You'll learn so much. I'm very proud of you, Rohan. I wish we had more time tonight because there's so much more questions that I want to ask. And I know there's so much more that you want to tell about the book and everything else. So hopefully we can have you back maybe right before the launch. I will try to see if we can have you back. But in the meantime, I want you guys to try to get as much rest in as possible as new parents. And I want you to continue. Maybe there'll be a second part, there'll be a follow up, right? To this book, what life is like, is I know you have so much going on for you, and I'm very, very proud of you. Thank you, Aminta. Thank you, Rohan. And to everyone, get your copy of Decade of Discovery. All right, we will be right back after these messages.
Flamingo Restaurant and Mantra Lounge. We are NYC's premier Caribbean restaurant and lounge, specializing in authentic West Indian, Chinese, and Caribbean cuisine. Open every day for lunch and late night. For delivery, find us on Uber Eats, Grubhub, Seamless, and DoorDash. Visit our rooftop lounge upstairs on the weekends for a fun-filled night. We cater and take bookings for private events. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Flamingo Mantra. Our address is 120-06 Rockaway Boulevard, telephone 7188351000.
right, guys, we are back. We are with the beautiful Sita Sohit. Sita, welcome to Get Real with Shameeza. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you for having me, Shameeza.
Um, so, you're a teacher by profession,
Yes.
and your passion. I know you have a real passion for teaching,
Yeah.
but you also have a different passion. And in the last year or so, you started a singing career. Is that
True.
correct?
Yes,
can you,
that's
can
correct.
you tell us about it? First, introduce yourself,
Sure.
and then tell us how you got to the singing part.
Okay. So my name is Sita Sohit. I graduated many, many years ago, and I had a passion for teaching. So I love teaching. I love children. So I fulfilled a desire as a teacher. I taught UPK for many, many years. I would say the number of years, but it would definitely tell my age. So it's about 10 plus years. So I had the passion for teaching children early childhood. So I accomplished that passion. And then I always listened to music. Like I love music. My father sings a lot and he wrote a song for my wedding. So he is a singer, but he never recorded songs. So when he wrote a song for my wedding, I was stunned.
Wow.
So I found that I watched TV less and I listened to music a lot, even though I was a teacher as a hobby.
Right.
So and go ahead.
So a year ago, you decided that, was it just something that you had a passion for, and you're like, you know what, this is something that I want to do. Because
Yeah.
I know you're a mom, you have
Yeah.
a busy life, and
Yeah.
to take on an extracurricular activity,
Yeah.
it's not something as women we do, right?
Yeah.
But you decided that this is something that
Yeah.
you wanted to do. Tell us why you chose music.
Okay. Actually, I had a personal change in my life, and I didn't want to fall into depression because I felt like I was going through a lot because I was blindsided with this personal change. And being a teacher, you have to be strong for your students and having a personal life and a luxurious life, like all your many, many years. And when I had this personal change, I felt like I heard people talk about depression, but I didn't know that I was actually facing it. So I had to snap out of it, of course. I have a class to teach. I have my own, children,
Your mom.
my a mom.
Yeah.
So music was the only thing that would change my mood. So I would play music and I was like, I have to do something more with music because before that, I supported artists, friends. So it came about actually, I had a video, an artist had asked me to be in a video to act out the song. And then I'm like, you know what? I sing as well, but not professionally, just at the temple. Culturally, I'm from a Hindu background.
Right.
So, and the artist heard my voice and he was like, you know what? You have a really amazing voice. Like, you should start singing. So I laughed. I was like, really? I just sing for fun. So when I was going through my personal change, I was like, I needed something, but I wanted a natural remedy. So I started to take vocal lessons
Right.
and I started to take more lessons, and then I knew to sing, but I know more English than Bollywood lyrics.
Right.
So I had a Bollywood teacher, starting to coach me. And then I recorded my first song, Dheere Dheere Mere Zindagi Mein Aana.
Right.
And I had a lot of responses and a lot of people opinions about it, and they really love my voice. And then I recall having my first show with Tasif and Rohit Chan,
Right.
and the show was sold out.
Yeah.
And I was so happy performing for the audience because I actually changed their mood. Like at the end of the day, we all have a long day, like working. And so when I reached the audience and, I saw the happiness in their face and my mood started to change.
Yeah.
So I felt like I uplift myself because with the huge personal change, I didn't want to like be down in life.
Right.
Like we all go through many, many changes. And this is how I wanted to encourage people, not just with music, if you're going through a personal change and you feel like you're going down, pick an interest or a talent that you have, whether it's baking, cooking, something that you're good at to uplift yourself instead of making yourself like feel low, because we all have highs and low points in our life. So, and I all want to reach like a larger audience, especially like with teenagers, families, youngsters, marriages. You have to know how to handle the situation, and you have to empower yourself. You can't bring yourself down, because in life we face many, many changes. So music was my way of uplifting myself, being a singer. Like I recorded my second song, Jabachai, and I'm releasing another song in December, and it's my first English remake. So to be honest, I started music because it kind of helped me in the direction where I want to be, and I fulfill my desire like teaching. And right now, I'm doing special ed with a larger population, with a smaller population with special needs, so I could focus more on music.
Got it. Now, Japachaya, is that coming released already?
That
or is
released a month, 2 months ago.
2 months ago.
Yes, I have another song that's good coming up next month. It's my first English remake, but I want it to be a surprise.
Okay, so we'll hold off and we'll wait.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, being a teacher, being a mom, and going into music for the last year, how has that changed your life in terms of, you know, um, adding more time to your life and just, finding that's that time to do it, and you're a busy person, right? How does it change you?
Actually, I was the head teacher in the beginning of my teaching career, and right now I stepped down just to teach with special ed, meaning I'm still doing it, but we're doing group teaching. So I'm focusing more on music. So so I could fit my lifestyle and have for my family to spend more time with music, so I could reach a larger audience.
Very nice.
So because this is my I have another event coming up Saturday. So it's gonna be my fourth.
Yes.
And then I will be performing in Aruba.
In
So
Aruba, wow.
exactly. So I balanced my regular job, and then I will put aside an hour towards music. Towards
Right.
music.
And that's all your training
Training.
and everything else.
Exactly.
Go on.
But with my English song, the English remake, I didn't have a teacher at all. I just have
Because
the
you were good at that.
exactly. So
Right.
I have the producer sent me the first demo. I
Right.
typed up the lyrics. Actually, my father helped me with the song.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You need to sing this song,
Right.
because I want to reach in my music career a different genres of music."
Got it.
And versatile that area, so I could be in larger arenas and concerts and stuff like that.
Wow. Now
So
we
yeah.
have Arnaz that's asking if we can hear you sing. Right? And I know Arnaz is probably going to
It's
come
okay.
out on Saturday to
Yeah.
watch you when you perform at Inner Circle, right?
Yes.
You're going to be there on Saturday. So if you're watching, you like to see Sita, support her, go out on Saturday. She'll be at Inner Circle. And Sita, we want to hear, because
That's
when
okay.
artists come on the show, we have to have you sing. So whenever you're ready, go ahead. Tell us what you're singing for us tonight.
I'm not going to be singing just a few lines.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
So I will sing you. धीरे धीरे से मेरे जिंदगी में आना, धीरे धीरे से दिल को चुराना. I'll be more than happy to sing more songs for you.
Yeah. And like I said, guys, come this Saturday, she will be performing. When is your event in is it Aruba?
December 28th.
December 28th, she'll be in Aruba. And is that just you performing in
No,
Aruba? Or there could be
it's other international artists. I think Vikash is going to be there, Terry Gadraj, Bangti, Kailan, and myself.
Wow. Only girl on the show?
I'll be the only girl.
Very, very nice. And how does it feel now? I know you've had in the last year, you've had about 4 or 5 shows
Yes.
total, and you've had majority of those shows all sold
Mhm.
out. And you've
Yes.
done it with like different artists, Terry
Yes.
Gadraj, Tawsif Baksh.
Yeah.
You've had many other artists that you
Mhm.
have performed next to
Yeah.
and sold out shows. How does it feel?
Oh, it feels amazing because actually I'm a newcomer. So when it took off, like I sponsored 2 shows
Mhm.
and the show was sold out. And then I was like, now I want to be getting bookings.
Of
I
course.
so that's what I'm leading towards, putting out more music and hopefully get bookings and shy away from the sponsors.
Of
Like I
course.
was the one sponsoring the 2 events, and
Right.
invested, and
Right.
then it's sold out. But for my last 3 shows, I was booked.
You were booked.
I
You're
was
very good.
booked as a new artist.
Well, I'm very
So
happy. I'm very proud. Now, what would you say to anyone out there that is currently, where you were a year ago,
mhm,
not sure what you should do, life is stuff, and you're going through something like
mhm,
the way you were going
mhm,
through a
mhm,
personal thing. What should they do? Should they make that decision to take up a whole new career? Because it is a
mhm,
career, right?
yeah,
It's a passion. It's a
yeah.
career. What would you advise them to do at that point?
I think when you go through a personal change and it's happening to you and you feel like you want to cry, you're scared. Why did it happen to you? Did you do something wrong? Is it you? It is never you, because we all have morals and values at the end of the day. So
Right.
I was raised with family values, and marriages were supposed to last forever. And honestly, when I was blindsided and I got faced with this new personal change, I was like actually shocked,
Mm-hmm.
so I
Right.
and depression, like I didn't want to be depressed. So, and I had to set an examples for my children.
Of course.
So I had to empower myself being a teacher as well, and then stepping down just to focus more on education.
Mm-hmm.
Find your passion, empower yourself. Don't make yourself feel like you did something wrong. Whether you like cooking, baking, what else? Something that you have a talent in. Musical instrument, if you want to play a musical instrument,
Yeah. You like
talk
to
to somebody,
dance.
talk to someone,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of resources there that could help you, you know?
Interestingly, you mentioned, know your passion. I feel like a lot of times we go through life, and we really, many of us go through, and we know we're missing something. We know we're just doing this job because it's a job and we have to make the money, right? Or
Mm,
we're living life because we feel this is what we're supposed to do. And to really find your passion, that
mm,
thing that when you're in that moment with it, you and that thing becomes one, right?
yeah.
And it could be simple things like cooking, or
Mm,
having, or singing in the
mm,
shower, right?
exactly.
And it's whatever brings you joy and
Mm,
a level of peace to your
yeah,
life.
yeah.
I feel that's really your passion, and some of us can take
Mm,
it to different places,
mhm,
and some of us are very comfortable living with it in the moment and just being you, right? Whether it's
yeah.
cooking some food in the kitchen,
Mm,
dancing in your living room or in your
exactly.
bedroom. And if
Yeah.
that brings you that peace, that joy, then that's your passion,
Yeah.
guys. And we all need to find that passion. We have to live life. We have to find that passion. And when we find that passion, we have to embrace it. We have to keep it close to us. And we have to make sure that we protect ourselves and that passion. And
Yes.
I'm proud to hear Sita
Mm,
say that she found her passion in music,
mm,
and she did the necessary steps to take it to the next level, which is she got a instructor.
mm,
She went to classes, and she dedicated time, money, her
mm.
energy into making sure that she had the best version of it. And she, just
Yeah.
you
But I
know
do have that family background. as a singer from my father.
Right.
Because he is a singer, but he just never recorded songs. But he is an amazing singer. You know, growing up with him in the temple, singing for like just bhajans and stuff like that. So I do have a family background with music.
Yeah.
So I just developed the talent and put in more effort and the resources to bring it out more professionally. You
Got it.
know,
Well, I'm happy that you did that, and
Yeah.
here you are today, sold out concerts, music videos after music videos,
yeah.
and you're happy, right?
Yeah,
You're a
I'm
happy
very
place.
happy. Music
You
makes
took
me really.
something that most people could have gone into a deep depression, could have taken their life in a whole different direction. They could have spiraled out of control, and you showed your kids, you showed your family that listen, I can take what happened to me, right, and not make it into something that I cry about every day, or I feel all these different emotions. I'm going to turn it into a positive. I'm going to find my passion, and I'm going to live with my passion.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Sita. Before
Thank
you leave
you.
us tonight, tell us how our viewers can actually contact you for bookings,
Okay.
your social media platforms, how they can contact you, and any upcoming events, shows, music
Sure.
that you have coming out for them to look
Sure.
forward to.
I will be creating a bookings page.
Yes.
So my email will be there. So as my phone numbers. My phone number will
And
be
how
on
can
social
they
media.
follow you on social media?
I have a social media account on Facebook as Sita Sohit, and also on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Instagram
Sita
and
Sohit, guys,
yes.
follow her. Good evening to you, Sonia. So follow Sita if you like to book her for your upcoming events. Please get in contact with her. She will also have her page with her booking information on there very soon. And you said, when do you know when the next song is going to be released?
It's going to be releasing in December.
In December. So right for the holidays, Sita will have her new song being released, and that's Jabachaya.
No, it's a remake.
It's
and a remake
remix.
English.
Is that a collaboration?
No, it's by myself, but it's
Okay.
my first English. The song is Raja Raja.
Raja
Yeah.
sounds really, really good, guys. So definitely follow her. Check that out, and you can also find your videos on YouTube.
Yes, my videos on YouTube.
Videos on YouTube this weekend. She will be at Inner Circle. If you guys would like to go out, support her, and see her talent there this Saturday evening. All right. Before you leave us, what would you like to advise viewers out there when it comes to living your best life and finding your passion?
I think self-love. My parents taught me self-love, like life is important and you have to acknowledge yourself as being special.
Right.
Whether there's a life change, you have to seek help with the light, but at the end of the day you should love yourself, whether you are a female or male. You have to love yourself or think about your life being important. You came into this world yourself, and you should acknowledge your life. And we all go through changes, so you have to be really strong and empower yourself and do self-love. I believe in self-love.
Well said. Now, it's a year now. Have you moved on? Are you single? Are you looking?
No, I'm actually focusing on music because it makes me really, really happy at this moment.
Great choice.
So that's what I'm doing right now.
And by the way, I know it took me until the end, but I was so focused on having you. I know you were a little bit nervous, so I didn't want to make you more nervous.
I know.
You look stunning.
Oh, thank you.
You want to stand up and show our viewers your beautiful dress? This is so pretty, guys.
okay.
And she is a fashion icon in our community too. She's been at quite a few of my events, and every time we see her, she always shows up in the most gorgeous outfits. So if you're coming out to one of her events, you can expect to see her. And if you've seen her music videos, she is always in beautiful outfits. All right. So she's a fashion inspiration, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you
again.
so much for
I'm
having me.
so
I really
happy.
appreciate you.
My
It's my
pleasure.
first interview, and I'm really
Yes.
want to say thank you so much. You're always like a
Pleasure,
sweetheart.
pleasure.
Looking forward to support you as well.
From
And
Tal
thank you for
Steve,
having
who
you.
was starting, to you And the list continue, guys. We're a platform where we make sure it was Rohan's first interview too with his book. We want to make sure that we have a platform for people like Sita, for Rohan, and many others, that they can come to a platform, they can be respected, and they can, just tell their story. And that's what we're doing here on Get Real with Shameeza. So until next time, quick note, next week I will not be live. We will not have a show next week. It's the eve before Thanksgiving. It's my baby Adam's birthday, and mommy has to be there the entire day to pamper him and make sure that, he is loved and taken care of. So next Wednesday, I will not be on, but the following week, I will be back with brand new episodes of Get Real with Shameeza. I want to wish you guys a happy, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy. Make sure that family and friends and your loved ones, you're surrounded by them and you make every moment the best. Until next time, my name is Shameeza Ali, and this is Get Real with Shameeza. Have a pleasant evening, everyone. Bye bye.